And we are back to Isaiah, just a short diversion a few days ago, and we're going to continue in chapter 52. So let's go straight into it. How beautiful on the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news. Some of the older ones amongst us might remember a song we used to sing called Our God Reigns, which included those words, how beautiful on the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news. It's one of my favourites. Who publishes peace, who brings good news of happiness, who publishes salvation and says to Zion, your God reigns. I say it's one of my favourite songs, it's one of my favourite passages. But it's so important we don't take these things out of context. Not just that we don't misunderstand things, but so that we get the depths, the full value of these passages. Remember the situation that this is addressed to. So the people of Israel in captivity in Babylon. And why are they there? They're there because of God's judgment upon their sin. And they are oppressed by a mighty power, an enemy way too powerful for them to do anything about. Their situation is hopeless. And we have there the two reasons, or the two fundamental reasons why we can find situations hopeless. Our own sin, our own responsibility. The first one, and the second one is that the circumstances, the people, the forces, whatever, things outside ourselves, which are causing the trouble, are too powerful for us to do anything about. So there we are. We cannot do anything about ourselves. We cannot do anything about the things outside us. Both are too powerful. Our sin is too powerful. The forces outside are too powerful. And to this situation, God says, I'm bringing good news. Good news of happiness. And why is this? How can there possibly be good news? How can there possibly be any hope? Because our God reigns. Whatever situation you might be in today, whatever situation I might be in, however I might be feeling, however you might be feeling, our God reigns. That is the fundamental fact upon which we need to build our lives. It's a fundamental fact upon which we need to approach this day. Our God reigns. The voice of your watchmen, they lift up their voice, together they sing for joy. For eye to eye they see the return of the Lord to Zion. Jerusalem is a ruin. It had been utterly devastated. The temple had been destroyed. It looked as though God had abandoned it. It might seem as though God has abandoned this nation. It might seem as though God has abandoned you or me. The Lord is returning to Zion. Break forth together into singing, you waste places of Jerusalem. For the Lord has comforted his people, he has redeemed Jerusalem. The Lord has bared his holy arm before the eyes of all the nations. And all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our God. We may live in a godless society. We may live in a society that despises anything to do with Christianity. But God will comfort his people. God has redeemed his people. Depart, depart, go out from there. Touch no unclean thing. Go out from the midst of her. Purify yourselves, you who bear the vessels of the Lord. This is Isaiah, or God, telling the people that you need to get out of Babylon. They've been there, I don't know. This is given by Isaiah. It's looking forward to the time when they would be released. It's prophetic, truly prophetic. And they would spend up to about 70 years, I think, in Babylon. You get used to it. You get used to it. You get used to captivity. We're getting used to lockdown. We still don't really like it, but we get used to it. And going back to normality can seem threatening at times. The Lord's command is get out of there, depart, get out of Babylon. Babylon is not your home. There was a time you had to be there, but that time is coming to an end. For you shall not go out in haste, and you shall not go in flight, for the Lord will go before you, and the God of Israel will be your rear guard. Well, that's looking back to the Exodus from Egypt, when they did leave in haste. God's saying this time, you will not leave in haste. I'll go before you, and I'll be behind you. You see, we can get used to circumstances, unpleasant, or even painful and horrible as they may be. We can get used to it. But God has something much better for us. He has something much better for his people. And it can be a step of faith to believe that God can have anything better for us. And when God offers something which is better for us, it can be a step of faith to actually, I'm going to go with that. Because there can be fear. There can be fear in our hearts because it's something different. God, our God, reigns. And he brings good news. So let us lay hold of his good news. And the next ones in Isaiah are going to be telling us, how can this possibly be? It's going to explain how this can be. Amen.